user-defined properties to points. This tutorial demonstrates how to add custom properties to points. Exercise 1. Creating user-defined properties. In this exercise, you will learn how to create a user-defined property classification and add items to it. Create a user-defined property classification. Open points4a.dwg. The drawing is similar to the ones you used earlier in the points tutorials, except only the points for storm manholes and the detention pond are visible. In Tool Space, on the Settings tab, expand the point collection. Right-click User-Defined Property Classifications. Click New. In the User-Defined Property Classification dialog box, enter Manhole UDP. Click OK. The new classification is created and added to the list of user-defined property classifications. In Tool Space, on the Settings tab, expand the point collection. Right-click User-Defined Property Classifications. Click New. In the User-Defined Property Classification dialog box, enter Trees. Click OK. On the Settings tab, expand User-Defined Property Classifications. Right-click Manhole UDP. Click New. In the new User-Defined Property dialog box, for name, enter MH pipe in invert. In the Property Field Type list, select Elevation. Use the default values for all other properties. Click OK. The property is added to the list of Manhole UDP properties. Repeat steps 1 to 4 to add additional properties to the Manhole UDP classification, using the following parameters. Name, MH material. Property field type, string. Name. Property field type, dimension. Name, M. Property field type, dimension name, MH pipe in material property field type, string name, MH pipe out invert property field type, elevation name, MH pipe out diameter. Property field type, dimension. Name, MH pipe out material. Property field type, string. Repeat steps 1 to 4 to add properties to the trees classification using the following parameters. On the Settings tab, expand User-Defined Property Classifications. Right-click Trees. Click New. In the new User-Defined Property dialog box, for name, enter Tree Common Name. In the Property Field Type list, select String. For name, enter Tree Genus. In the Property Field Type list, select String. For name, enter Tree Species. In the Property Field Type list, select String. For name, enter Tree Diameter. In the Property Field Type list, select Dimension. For name, enter Tree Height. In the Property Field Type list, select Distance. Use the default values for all other properties. Click OK. The property is added to the list of trees properties. Exercise 2. Creating a label style that displays a user-defined property. In this exercise, you will create a label style that displays user-defined property information for a point. Create a label style that displays user-defined property information. Open points4b.dwg. In Tool Space, on the Settings tab, expand the point collection. Expand the Label Styles collection. Under Label Styles, right-click Standard. Click Copy. In the Label Style Composer, on the Information tab, for name, enter Manhole UDP. On the Layout tab, in the Preview list on the upper right side of the tab, select Point Label Style. Now, any edits you make to the point label style will be displayed in the preview pane. Click to create a text component for the label. For the new text component, specify the following parameters. Name, invert in anchor. Component, Point description anchor. Point, bottom left. Text attachment, top left. Under text, for contents, click the default value. Click dot in the text component editor, contents dialog box. On the Properties tab, specify the following parameters. Properties, MH in invert. Precision, 0.01. Click dot in the text editing window, delete the text label text from the label. Enter invert in, before the property field, which is enclosed in angle brackets. Click OK. Click OK. Exercise 3, assigning user-defined properties to points. In this exercise, you will use point groups to associate user-defined properties with points in your drawing. Assign user-defined properties to points. Open points 4c.dwg. In Tool Space, on the Prospector tab, click Point Groups. In the Item view, click the Storm Manholes entry. In the Classification column, select Manhole UDP. Apply the user-defined property point label style in the Prospector tree view, expand point groups. Click Storm Manholes. In the Item view, right-click in a column heading. Clear the check mark from all items in the list, except the following. Point number. Point label style. MH in invert. MH in material. Clearing the checkboxes turns off the display of columns you do not need to see for this exercise. Click the row for point 307. Click the point label style cell to display the Select Label Style dialog box. In the Select Label Style dialog box, select Manhole UDP as the label style. Click OK. Repeat steps 4 to 6 to apply the Manhole UDP for point 667. Specify user-defined property values. For point 307, click the MH in invert cell. Enter 93.05. Right-click the row for point 307. Click Zoom to. The value is displayed with the other point information in the drawing window. For point 667, click the MH in invert cell. Enter 93.00. Right-click the entry for point 667. Click Zoom to. Exercise 4, Importing points with user-defined properties. In this exercise, you will create a custom point file format, and then import point information that includes user-defined properties from an external file. Create a point file format for importing user-defined properties. Open points4d.dwg. In Tool Space, on the Settings tab, expand the point collection. Right-click Point File Formats. Click New. In the Point File Formats, select Format Type dialog box, select User Point File. Click OK. In the Point File Format dialog box, specify the following properties. Format name, manhole data. Comment tag, hashtag. Format options, delimited by. Delimited by. In the table of column names, click the first column heading. In the point file formats, select column name dialog box, in the column name list, select point number. Click OK. Repeat steps 5 and 6 to name additional columns using the following values. Column 2, MH material. Column 3, MH diameter. Column 4, MH in invert. Column 5, MH in diameter. Column 6, MH in material. Column 7, MH out invert. Column 8, MH out diameter. Column 9, MH out material. Click OK. Import user-defined property data from a text file. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, ensure that the point groups collection is expanded, and select the storm manholes group. In the item view, note that this group contains only 9 points, and some of the data columns are blank. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, right-click Points. Click Create. In the Create Points dialog box, click Import Points. In the Import Points dialog box, in the Format list, select Manhole Data. Click Browse to the tutorial folder. Select Manhole Data.txt. Click Open. Click OK. In the Duplicate Point Number dialog box, in the Resolution list, select Merge. Click OK. The point data is imported. On the Prospector tab, click the Storm Manholes point group. The point data from the file import is displayed in the item view, including specific values for manhole data. Close the Create Points dialog box. Exercise 5, Querying User-Defined Property Information. In this exercise, you will create a point group. The list of points included in the group is determined by a query that contains user-defined properties. Create a point query. Open points4e.dwg, which is located in the Tutorials Drawings folder. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, right-click Point Groups. Click New. In the Point Group Properties dialog box, on the Information tab, for name, enter Storm Manholes, invert in. On the Query Builder tab, select Modify Query. Right-click the Query Builder table. Click Insert Row. Click the row you created. Click Name in the Property column. In the Property list, select MH Pipe in Invert. Click the operator value. In the operator list, select. Click the value. Enter 93. Click OK. On the Prospector tab, click Storm Manholes, invert in. A list of points that match your query is displayed in the item view. Points number 307 and 667 are excluded, because in a previous exercise you set their values for MH Pipe in invert to 93.05 and 93.00.